and welcome to a TRBusiness video. I'm here with Gary, MD of Counterintelligence Retail, and we're here for a specific reason today because I believe you've reached 10 years working in travel retail. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah, October saw our 10th birthday, and we've been working the channel for that period of time, and great to sort of share a few things that we've seen change over that time, and also what we may well see in the future.
Of course. Well, I'll kick off with that then. In your opinion, what have you seen change in a decade?
Well, it's 10 years since we started Counterintelligence Retail, and at the time I was working with Nestle ITR, and I recognised at the time that the channel was missing a agency that was data-centric and shopper-centric, and someone who could really come to market and help brands and retailers grow their business. Having worked in various commercial roles with brands and retailers in the UK market, I recognised that this was a clear opportunity. But back then, I'd been new to the channel. I wasn't really prepared for some of the resistance that I got from brands and retailers when we brought a category management collaborative service to market. And what I found was actually retailers and brands working in isolation, and in some cases in absolute ignorant bliss. So I think the biggest thing I've seen change in the last 10 years is through the work that we've done with CiR, is that we've really pioneered some good relationship building, where we're now seeing data being used on a very regular basis across brands and across retailers to make really good, sound commercial decision making.
And do you think the industry's done enough in that respect in the last 10 years?
Well, I think we've made some significant moves forward. And although we're far from having a transparent market for data, I do feel we've moved away from the dark and into the light.
Well, that's good news, I suppose. And how has data sharing and usage changed in that same time period?
I think the biggest change I've seen is in the sophistication of how data is being used. It's gone from seeing basic sales data and maybe some shopper data being put together to really I'm now seeing brands and retailers using numerous data points to make their decisions. And really this embracing of a more thorough approach is what's helped us develop our business over that 10-year period. During that time, we've built 3 business units, hopefully soon to be 4, and they've all been designed with the aim of helping brands and retailers to grow their business. Our approach to data optimization is really clear. We put together the right data in the right format to make the right recommendations. And it's something that is become a proven platform for us with all of our clients. Just to build on that a little bit further, we have a research business that brings market, consumer and shopper intelligence to the table. We then have our business lounge service, which is an online hub, and within that service we have nationality data, we have passenger data, we have both historic and forward-looking traveller information. So we know a lot about who's moving where across the world and at different times and who with. We then overlay that intelligence with our category management service, and our category management service, which combines EPOS analysis, really then throws out our recommendations. And what's good with what we've learned from our recommendations is that we've proven to be able to drive footfall, increase penetration, improve spend and grow overall sales.
What would you say is kind of the next big thing that travel retail has to learn?
I think if we look at what's been talked a lot about at conferences this year, then digital has to be a key topic. And I think it's been interesting to see how industry figures have reacted differently. Some have come out and said it's a threat to our industry. Some have come out and said it's a clear opportunity. Personally, I see it as being a huge opportunity and something that we should embrace. But I think the industry is a little bit unsure how to respond at the moment. I really see digital as an opportunity to create awareness and open up new ways for travellers to experience and buy brands in our channel. This is something that we've already been working on at CiR, and in Q1 next year we'll announce a new business called CiR Digital. With the intelligence that we already have in our business about understanding where travellers are moving around the world, which airports they're travelling to and from, how they book, where they book and how they buy products in store, we want to go out and create some amazing online campaigns working with brands and retailers.
So how do you see this working?
We've put together a team of digital experts, and we know that we can create digital campaigns that will reach millions of travellers. We want to raise awareness of brand and retail activity in the channel, and ultimately we want to drive travellers to become shoppers either in virtual or real environments. What I see digital being is a trinity platform for the 21st century.
Obviously a lot of things have changed over the last decade in travel retail, and one of those has got to be industry consolidation. What are your views on this?
Well, there's no doubt that it's had a huge impact on our channel already, and I think we'll see more consolidation as we move through the next few years. But what I'm really hoping with is that with consolidation, we don't get complacency. My view on this is quite simple. The customer experience is the battleground for travel retail. And I do believe that retailers and brands have an obligation to create amazing shopping experiences. What we have in travel retail is something that's unique. It's a unique retail environment that doesn't exist anywhere else. And brands and retailers must realise this. And I think they must put service, experience and entertainment as a core part of their strategy. I really see two areas that I'm concerned, or that two areas that we need to address as an industry when we think about consolidation. I think firstly what I'm concerned about is that I don't see enough retailers and brands putting a focus on what I call the retail basics. This for me is the execution of the retail fundamentals. It's around assortment, space, price, promotional strategy and communication in store. I think we're very good at creating amazing retail environments, but sometimes the basics get forgotten. And what I'm concerned about is as bigger operations become even bigger, that some of the basics will get lost.
Yeah.
What we know at CiR is during the last 10 years that an investment into really focusing on the basics and getting the basics right pays immediate dividends, and it also builds long-term equity and sales growth.
Absolutely. You've talked about the basics there, Gary, but is there anything else?
I really think there is. I think what will come with scale of retail operations is the need for process and structure, and I really understand that. But what travel retail has in abundance is the very thing that can't be scaled, and that's the local touch. We've heard a great deal over the last few years about how sense of place has given the shopper a real experience to remember. However, in my personal opinion, I'm starting to see more homogenous travel retail pop up across the world. I know we have a global audience, so some standardisation is absolutely right. However, I really think we could be more inventive about how we reimagine the category experience.
There must be some best practice examples out there and some retailers that are doing it right.
Of course, I think overall our standards of retail in the channel are excellent, and although I don't think there's the perfect store out there, I do think there are many pockets of excellence that we see across the world. I think most recently I've been impressed with the duplex developments in Singapore. I think along with their long bar concept that DFS have developed, I think that gives the traveller a really unique sense of place and a unique environment to shop in. I also think the Connoisseur Bar and the Connoisseur Lounge at St Petersburg deserve some merit. A really well curated premium shopping space. I think other noteworthy examples, Heathrow T2 for beauty. I think beauty in Qatar looks really good, and there's some innovative things in the Alias store in Paris, the new one that's opened recently. I'd say in confectionery, I like the LS Travel So Chocolate brand. It's a standalone concept, but it's well executed, well managed, and there's a good experience in there.
And are there any retailers or places in the world that need to be doing a better job?
Well, I think it's difficult to single out any individual retailers or any individual locations, mainly because, again, in my personal opinion, I think there's room for improvement across all categories. However, the category that I continue to find the most difficult to understand and in my opinion, the most difficult to shop is beauty. I find the category a real paradox. It has some of the world's most amazing brands with such an amazing presence, yet the space in store looks identical across the world. The category for me has the same look and feel no matter where I travel, and yet I think the category is just waiting to be transformed. I know it's a difficult category to work in, but I think a little more detailed shopper-led thinking could really transform the category and make it easier to shop.
We can't really talk about the travel retail industry without, unfortunately, bringing up the recent terror attacks. How do you think this is going to affect the travel retail industry going forward?
Well, I think there's no doubt they're going to have a negative impact on our industry. Just the scenes that we've seen on our TVs and that have been beamed around the world is no doubt to have a serious consequence. I think the ripple effect that we'll see will no doubt end up at retail at some point. And already, anecdotally, I'm hearing friends and colleagues talk about changing their plans and their travel arrangements as a direct result of what they've seen. We're also seeing reports around declines in PAX numbers, and we're also seeing reports in certain stores being able to looking to close as a result of these tragedies. The impact is already there to see. We're seeing heightened security in the airport. We're seeing tighter border controls. And the knock-on effect means more processing time for passengers. It means that there's a heightened level of anxiety for travellers, and therefore it just means less time and certainly less appetite for shopping. Overall, I think the impact could be profound.
Unfortunately, yes. And I guess my final question for you, Gary, is how would you like to see the travel retail industry change in the next 10 years?
I think there's probably two areas that I would like to see happen, and probably they cover a couple of points that I've already talked about. I think first of all, digital, a huge opportunity for this channel to embrace, and I really think there's an opportunity to create amazing virtual retail environments like we see in terms of bricks and mortar environments. But I see the two working together, and we should be able to use digital to connect travellers and shoppers with virtual and real travel environments. So first of all, I would sort of say that digital is the one that we should really focus on as an industry. Secondly, the other area I'd like to really see change is in getting more retailers committing to sharing more data with their brand partners. I know it's a topic that's been covered lots of times, and I've mentioned that we've made some significant progress already, but I do truly believe it's the one thing that could stimulate a step change in sales in our industry. Well, I feel that the industry is sometimes at odds with itself. And what I mean by that is that at CiR, we already work with a fairly significant number of retailers on data sharing and data handling. And we work in a tri-party agreement where we work with a brand owner and a retailer to share that data, overlay lots of other information sources to help them create their retail strategies. Yet what we see is many of the same retailers not wanting to openly share their data in a wider forum. This is a clear opportunity to create something which is commonplace in domestic markets, and from our experience that we've all had in domestic markets, we know it's something that works. While I fully understand the reasons for people not wanting to share data, not being as open as they possibly could be, I am genuinely concerned that it's holding the channel back, and it's the one thing that could generate a step change in our industry. I'd sort of say that where CiR have partnered with brands and retailers over the last 10 years, we've proven that data sharing, the use of data to generate solid insight really has been the catalyst for increasing sales.
Well, that's great to hear, and I hope you continue to do that for many years to come. Thanks very much for talking with us today, Gary, and hope to see you soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.